as his wife. These words already point to the mission which God entrusts to Joseph. He is to be the custos, the protector. The protector of whom? Of Mary and Jesus. But this protection is then extended to the church. As Blessed John Paul II pointed out, just as St. Joseph took loving care of Mary and gladly dedicated himself to Jesus Christ's upbringing, he likewise watches over and protects Christ's mystical body, the Church, of which the Virgin Mary is the exemplar and model.
Con discrezione, con umiltà, nel silenzio, ma con una presenza costante e una fedeltà totale, anche quando non comprende.
How does Joseph exercise his role as protector? Discreetly, humbly, and silently, but with an unfailing presence of total fidelity, even when he finds it hard to understand. From the time of his betrothal to Mary until the finding of the 12-year-old Jesus in the Temple of Jerusalem, he is there at every moment with loving care. As the spouse of Mary, he is at her side in good times and bad, on the journey to Bethlehem for the census, and in the anxious and joyful hours when she gave birth, amid the drama of the flight into Egypt, and during the frantic search for their child in the temple, and later in the day-to-day life of the home of Nazareth, in the workshop where he taught his trade to Jesus.
Nella costante attenzione a Dio, aperto ai suoi segni, disponibili al suo progetto.
How does Joseph respond to his calling to be the protector of Mary, Jesus, and the Church? By being constantly attentive to God, open to the signs of God's presence, and receptive to God's plans, and not simply to his own. This is what God asked of David, as we heard in the first reading. God does not want a house built by men, but faithfulness to his word, to his plan. It is God himself who builds the house, but from living stones sealed by his Spirit. Joseph is a protector because he is able to hear God's voice and be guided by his will. And for this reason, he is all the more sensitive to the persons entrusted to his safekeeping. He can look at things realistically. He is in touch with his surroundings. He can make truly wise decisions. In him, dear friends, we learn how to respond to God's call readily and willingly. But we also see the core of the Christian vocation, which is Christ. Let us protect Christ in our lives so that we can protect others, so that we can protect creation.
La vocazione del custodire però non riguarda solamente noi cristiani, ha una dimensione che prende e che precede e che è semplicemente umana. Riguarda tutti.
The vocation of being a protector, however, is not just something involving us Christians alone. It also has a prior dimension which is simply human, involving everyone. It means protecting all creation, the beauty of the created world, as the book of Genesis tells us, and as St. Francis of Assisi showed us. It means respecting each of God's creatures and respecting the environment in which we live. It means protecting people, showing loving concern for each and every person, especially children, the elderly, those in need who are often the last we think about. It means caring for one another in our families. Husbands and wives first protect one another, and then as parents, they care for their children. children themselves in time protect their parents.
con sincerità le amicizie.
It means building sincere friendships in which we protect one another in trust, respect,
Nel bene.
and goodness.
In fondo, tutto è affidato alla custodia dell'uomo.
In the end,